Hey guys, what's going on? Hope you guys had a good week. This is episode 3 of Becoming Different. We got a lot of good topics coming today, and I am excited to get going to them. The New York Pro results were actually very surprising because third place looked unbelievable. I forgot how to pronounce his name, but he looked absolutely nutty. Anyways, Beef Stew looked incredible too at second place. He understood why. It's just Tony O'Byrne had superior genetics, but Eric Wood at fifth was a little bit of a shock. But his glutes and hamstring needed to be a little bit more conditioned compared to his front. That was all. Other than that, he looked phenomenal. His pictures leading up to it, I was like, oh, this dude could possibly win. But then Antonio Burton came in and, swept the floor. Which I predicted Antonio Burton to win. It was on my Instagram. I thought he was going to win. He did. He's very Dexter Jackson-esque, as the bro chat said. I see it. I see the muscle belly. I see the separation. Definitely. It's very Dexter Jackson-like. Could he place top 10 Olympia, possibly like Nick Trigili said? It's very hard to tell. Although Bonac might drop out of that top 10, there's still so many different guys that have to go through. Even if Brandon is off or Rami's off, you still got people coming up like Ian. You got Charles Griffin. You got Michael Crizo. You got Good Vito. You got a ton of people that are going to come up and place in that top 10 or could place in that top 10. And so I don't know if Tony O'Byrne can be a top 10 right now this year in 2023. I don't know when he would be. Maybe 2024, 2025. Some of these older guys would have to drop off before he can get in the top 10. Or he would have to outshine that many people to get in the top 8. He can be 11th and 12th this year, in my opinion. That's where I think he'll be. So is push-pull legs a good split? My answer is yes. It is actually a good split. Do I personally do it? No. Have I done it? Absolutely. When I was in high school, I did push-pull legs. And I think it's a very good intermediate level training style or split. My bad. Training split. So a very moderate, maybe you're 2 years in the gym, you're 3 years in, and you're not 5, 6, 7 years in going on. Yeah, I think it's a good split. Do advanced people still use it? Absolutely. It's probably some people all they know. And it's still a good split. You're hitting each, body group twice a week if that's your, plans. Personally, I'm just a bro split because I like to attack my muscles a little differently. But there's nothing wrong with the way you do your training split as long as you can try to optimize how much you're hitting your muscles per week and bring up weak points and your strong points, keep them balanced to your weak points. And so that's my opinion on push-pull legs. So I went to the NPC Grand Rapids this weekend and watched the amateur NPC show. It came out. There was a lot of guys that looked great, looked very conditioned, a lot of muscle for some of them guys. Coming down to it, some of them were not listening to the judges. Judge had to repeat himself multiple times. I've never had to see a judge ever have to repeat himself for a pose. I've been to 4 bodybuilding shows. I know it's not mine. I sound like a lot, but out of 4, this is the first time I've ever heard the judge have to repeat himself. Going into that, also, I went there because Derek Lunsford was there. Guys, he was literally 2.5 hours away. He's there. I know you can see him at the Arnold. I know you can see him Pittsburgh Pro. Whatever. He was at Grand Rapids. It wasn't even that bad of a drive. Drove there and back. I saw Derek Lunsford. So, going on to that, actually made sure, first thing I did, I brought a Sharpie with me because I was so determined to get this man's autograph. Got this man's autograph. Oh yeah, you could. I don't know if you can see it, but it's definitely the black marks by his calves. That's his signature, right? I wanted to make sure, and then I also wanted to make sure when I met this dude, I was going to get the pictures and the experience. So I got to take a picture next to him, and this is going to sound weird. Before I say this, his thigh, the sweeps, the thickness from the side in his jeans was unbelievable. I was actually mind blown when he was turned around, and that's what he looked like. I was like, wow, actually, that's impressive. So this is a picture I took with him. Let me see if it right. I mean, he's pretty fucking massive, to be honest with you. And then his front double bicep. I'm not no slouch in my opinion. Like, I'm not, like, oh, I'm pro, but like, I ain't a slouch. But he makes me look very small. Straight up. Oh my god, you can see how wide he is. Like, look how big his legs are. You see that, like, separation on the sides? That's what I'm talking about. Like, he might have some of the best legs in open. Without a doubt. He might have the best quad separation in open besides Samson or Hottie. And he could be comparable to Samson. Meeting him, very nice guy, very respectful. Definitely first pro I've met that wasn't, I met Jay Cutler, but I'm saying first, like, active pro I met. Definitely good experience. Definitely could take a lot from him. His work ethic is unmatched. His love for God is unmatched. The way he devoted himself to his religion is unmatched. And for that, I hope God gives him a Mr. Olympia one day. I really do. I think he deserves it. He probably will be number 18, if not him or Samson. It's one of the two. So, I took a 3-day deload from training this last week. It was Monday, Tuesday, and then Wednesday. So on Monday, I did back. And then Tuesday, I did shoulders. And then Wednesday, I did arms. Thursday, I took off. I always take Thursdays off from the gym. And then Friday, I went right into legs. And that's how I did it. And so, felt very good. Felt very needed. I've been going at this for a while. I think deloads are necessary, but they don't need to be necessary more than maybe 2 to 3 times in a given year. And even if you think you need it, ask yourself, do I really need it, or am I just being lazy? Because until your body's so taxed where you're like, oh, I can't even get out of bed type of shit. And I'm still getting out of bed. Like, that's not the issue. Like, I never had a point where it's like, oh, I can't make it out of bed. No. I'm just saying, like, how sore and how, like, taxing it is. Because, again, I have a physical labor job, and then I do bodybuilding, and then I'm, in school, and these are just little factors, so sometimes you do need a deload. And that's what happens. Is there anything wrong with deload? No. Take a deload when you absolutely need it. I just don't overuse it. That's all I'm saying. It's like using the restroom in school, basically, is to sum it up, is how often you should deload. Not every day, but you get it. Eagle lifting in 2023, it's been a problem. I've seen so much eagle lifting in 2023. It's just, guys, why do you guys eagle lift? Like, I see people put on 2 plates on a bench and they can't even get it off their chest. Like, why would you put 2 plates on if you can't even get it off your chest? There's no accomplishment for benching 2 plates. I want to be clear. Everyone be like, oh, you're a gym bro. All the people I see bench 2 plates can barely pick up hundreds. I'm just saying, I can pick up hundreds and do reps and reps and reps. With good form, good tension, everything. Why? And not bench. I literally haven't benched since I was 19 years old. I'm 21 right now. I've not benched in over 2 years. I don't need a bench. If I came back and bench, I probably can do 3 plates. I probably wouldn't even struggle. I'd probably get back and do it 3 plates within like 3 months. Doesn't matter. What I'm saying is, there's other ways you can be more optimal than just bench pressing. Although bench press is a very good exercise for your chest, it's also very taxing on your shoulders. It's also very taxing on your wrists. It's also very taxing on your triceps and everything else in between. And it can be just, I've had bad experiences with bench. Other people have. It's just not for me. I bench 300 pounds at 19. I'm happy. I'm content. I don't need to go chase anything better. Anyways, to that, there's people eagle lifting a bench, squatting. Okay, for squatting, can you guys, for the love of God, just go to parallel? Like, why do you guys go load up 3, 4, 5, and 6 plates on a fucking squat, or leg press, or hack squat, or whatever? And you guys are just not going full range of motion. I don't care how much weight you do. Just do full range of motion. Isn't that so hard? It's not so hard. Because, like, if you humble yourself, you go in the gym, and lift with good form, heavy weights, you're going to get better at it. The other day, I literally did 100s on flat for 15 when I was, hitting on, like, flat dumbbell. And, to be honest with you, I had no problem in my form. I was going at a very good pace. There was zero error, zero ego. That's what you have to do. You have to leave your ego at the door. Just because you want to do a weight doesn't mean that you have to go chase it every single workout. You can literally progress to get to that weight you want to do. For example, I did 3 plates and a 25 on a plate loaded row, single arm for 10 each hand. And I remember, like, my form wasn't terrible. It wasn't, like, perfect, but, like, I got each rep. It was clean. But I just remember, I'm like, man, I'm seeing people do, like, 5 and 6 plates, and they can barely move their elbows back. Because you need to think of your arms like hooks when you're training back to go, right? Makes sense. Your, elbow drive. And I just don't see people do elbow drives when they're hitting back. And so your ego lifting there, too. Or you'll go tricep pushdowns. Like, for example, a lot of people look at me as I'm weird because I can do 99 for like 15, 16 reps. Yes, I can do 100 pounds for reps. It's not really hard for me. But I've built that over this 5 years that I've been working out. But I've seen people do like 60, 70 pounds, 80 pounds, or whatever weight. And they're just like, they're not doing it, they're doing it wrong. They're doing the pushdown wrong. They're just doing the tricep extension wrong. And that's why I see issues with is people that just do the exercises wrong or poor form. Like this other dude the other day, I saw it crunch. Dude had a 100-pound hammer bar, literally half repping these curls. I'm like, why are you trying to curl 100 pounds? Curling heavier is not going to build bigger biceps, guys. Curling with good form and curling with good contractions and good squeezes and good stretches is what's going to build biceps. I have built my biceps and triceps the absolute most in the last year and a half. My arms are bigger than they ever been. I am almost pushing 18-inch arms with a pump natural. It's pretty impressive for a natural. Anyways, and I'm also 180, and I'm 21, and I'm 5'9", 5'8.5", whatever. And somewhere in there. So, also, is chicken and rice really the secret? Yes, chicken and rice is really how you get started. Chicken, rice, and broccoli. Protein shakes. Take the protein shakes out like a month out from the show. Chicken, broccoli, rice. Sometimes you only want to eat the broccoli. I get it. But yes, chicken and rice. Why is that the secret? Because chicken has so much protein, and it has no carbs, very little, and so you can eat a ton of protein. I think when I measure, because I do a lot of measuring, I think like 10 ounces of chicken, it's like 55 grams of protein per what you get, which is pretty impressive. It's pretty good. And then rice is just your source of carbs. It's a really good source of carbs that you can eat before the gym, after the gym, at night. It digests very well for me personally. So that's why chicken and rice is my go-to meal and why I eat a lot of chicken and rice. So, how did I use that in prep and where did it really help? I used it the entire prep. That's all I ever did was eat chicken and rice. But I wasn't really a rice fan as much as I was now compared to when I was in prep. I just think I needed a rice cooker. That was the difference. So, because I had a rice cooker, it tastes much better. Much, much better. Anyways, I'll be using chicken and rice for my next prep. I am fully committed to chicken and rice just like all the pros are. So, how to know if you're ready for PEDs? I say 3 things should go in. Well, more than 3 things should go into factor. First, your overall health. You need to be doing blood work. I don't care if you are Ryan Coleman genetics. I don't care if you're the twig that wants to be on PEDs. Okay? Get your blood work done. Make sure you're healthy and make sure your doctor knows. Also, hire people around you to make you better and that know more than you, have more knowledge than you, and you're willing to learn and listen. That's the only way you're going to be better is if you acknowledge that people are better than you in a certain subject, and then instead of being mad that people are criticizing you or people are shitting on you, have someone look over you and make sure that, like, hey, this dude's doing everything right, or this dude's doing, what is he doing wrong, and we got to correct it, Coaches are very good and very useful for when you need to use them. Am I on PEDs? No, I'm still natural at the moment. But another sign if you're ready for PEDs, if you're at your natural potential or near your natural potential. If you're near 5, 6, 7, 8, even pushing 9, you're probably at a point where you're like, oh my god, how much more can I grow? I feel like I've been the same for the last 5 years. And to your point, yes, the only difference that really happens between those years is maybe 3 to 4 pounds every 2 years. Maybe so 1 to 2 pounds a year. You're all maybe a little bit of muscle maturity and density. But other than that, you're really not growing that much more naturally. You're going to see most of your progression probably about the first 3 to 5 years, and then it just slowly is going to die off. A lot of people will tell me that I'm progressing so a lot, and I'm in about year 5 going into 6. But I still think I'm near my natural potential, and that I only have X amount of room to grow, which I think I'm maybe about 5 or 10 pounds of muscle left on my frame to grow. Another sign if you're also ready for PEDs is if you feel like it can make you income or money. I don't recommend people to be on PEDs. It is dangerous. It is illegal. It is wrong in people's eyes. And maybe you don't care about any of that. Maybe you're just like, hey, I want to take steroids. I want to take PEDs. Go for it. I'm not stopping you. I am done. All the people, done. Everyone's been telling me, oh, Josh, hop on. Josh, go on. But I can't. I'm not going on yet. I still want to compete more naturally. So that's how I see it. Anyways, continuing on. Another sign if you know you're PEDs. If your testosterone's low, that is not a good thing. When you hit age like 35, 40, when your testosterone is dropping, hey, maybe you need to go get some blood work done and get it to your doctor. And they can prescribe testosterone. Maybe you can put on a little bit of muscle, maybe 5 or 10 pounds with some proper nutrition. With the best nutrition and best training, maybe 15 pounds of muscle. Maybe people are much more, much greater. It just depends on who you are. Each individual varies. No two people are going to have the exact same response to the same PED. Everyone is different. So, I have Vintage Burn and Lava 196, and this combo together on prep will burn you fat like no other. So, I was taking this combo probably from 7 weeks out to the time I got to like 1 day out. I took them every day, and I was in the gym. My pumps were insane. I was very lean. I was very shredded. And between the 7 weeks out and 1 week out, I think the difference was like 15 pounds in 7 weeks, which might not seem like a lot, but how much of it was fat and how much it really dispersed my body was unbelievable. And I recommend these products to people. I always tell people, get Old School Labs, not just because I have an affiliate code, but because I actually do enjoy the products and I do use them on a daily basis. Anyways, use code JSINGER, JSINGER, the J and the S are capitalized at checkout, and you can get like 12% off. Let's get back to the video. So, who would win, Prime Phil or Prime Jay? So, it's very, very subjective because that's what bodybuilding is, but which version of them would you use? Would you use Phil 2011 or would you use Phil 2013? I'm going to use Phil 2011 and I'm going to use Jay Clark 2009. I think those are both their best displays, and that's where we can compare them the most, because as Phil was coming up, Jay was ending, which is kind of sad, but that was kind of true because Phil ended up beating Jay. But Jay also beat Phil for years prior. So, going on, who would win in a bodybuilding show? Would it be Jay because of how much muscle he has? Or would it be Phil because of how perfect his structure is and how amazing his structure is? Well, I think Phil he would win in his prime because I think his muscle belly is being so 3D and round, it made an illusion that he was unmatched and unbeatable, which for 7 years, he was unbeatable. Even though Jay Cutler won 4 times, he still lost it 6. I think it was 4 and 6 in total. He was second place. No, 7 times. He was second to Jackson. He was second to Phil. So yeah, 7 times he was second place to 4 times winning it, which there's nothing wrong with that. But if I watch each version of Phil and then I watch each version of Jay, Phil's worst version was like year 15. Okay, I think he started competing in 2005, and his worst to date version I think was 2020. I think 2020 looked worse than 2018 in my opinion. I didn't think he looked any better, but that's just my opinion, of course. Continuing on that, it took him 15 years to have my opinion. Well, 13, because you could say 2018 was a bad package, or even 2017 was a bad package if you really want to say so, because Big Ramy could have beat him that year. It was pretty close. Continuing on, it took him that long. Jay, even though he was good in the ranks, he still was second all them years. And even though Phil was second, he wasn't second as long as Jay was, because Phil ended up getting to the reign of the Mr. Olympia quicker because he had better genetics. That's what it comes down to. Or it's kind of like the Beast Stew versus Antonio Burn and Your Pro. I'm not saying either of these guys are those two. What I'm saying is like the similarity between a mass monster and some of this perfect structure. They gave it to the guy with a better structure because he flowed better. He looks better. They don't need the muscle guy. Obviously, Beast Stew has nowhere not near the amount of muscle as Jay Cutler did, or Tony Burns' structure isn't as good as Phil Heath's. But putting those comparisons, they're going to give it out the shape, and so that's why I think Phil Heath will win. Thank you guys for watching. Subscribe, like, and comment under the video. Go check out the workout playlist. Go check out my Instagram. Go follow, go like, and I hope you guys have a great week.